it's something that's going to affect us in the long run. And so the best thing that we can do is do our part and stay home. And we can't really, here in Iowa, uh, we don't have a stay in shelter order. And there's, cases every day that are continuing to continuing to grow. So, it's up to us. It's up to us individually to do our part, to do our guests, our duty as good people of this country to stay home, and to limit our movement. And by limiting our movement, we limiting the spread of this virus. So, with that, I just wanted to create a space for Indigenous, artists and poets to come together and share our art. This is something I wanted to do every Saturday. So you had a week to kind of get material prepared. And, we're always looking out for young Indigenous artists out there. So if you think you got what it takes to be featured here on Poetry Night, send us your videos, Indigenous Arts Alliance at Gmail, and we'll check it out, and we'll see if you can do what it takes to get on live stream and perform poetry. So it's really a crazy time right now for a lot of us artists and poets and just everybody all across. We're going through kind of a unique thing, a unique experience. And so one of the ways that, I think for me, and I think a lot of artists, is by creating, by getting it out, by expressing ourselves. I didn't really know what to expect when this pandemic hit, when all of these kind of orders went in place. So, I really kind of came up with this idea of trying to create throughout, because I thought it would have been a month or something like that. So I thought, why not try to create and then present something at the end of all of this. But now that it's kind of extending, I really wanted to provide a platform for this thing that I was doing, which is this art gallery. So stay tuned for future events coming up. Stay tuned for not only just poetry, but we're gonna have some art. We're gonna have some music performances, and so we're getting this all together and using this moment to try to better ourselves and better the situation. Me personally, I wanted to do this at a live physical space, but with what's going on, I felt like it was opportunity to use that to take it virtual and get this idea going and off the ground. So that's.
We have lost the live feed.
Oh man.
Oh, nope, it's back, and here I am on it. Never mind.
Okay. All right. So yeah, we really just want to keep pushing this idea and keep trying to promote people to create and to keep striving to come out better from the situation and to keep the outlook positive and to do a good thing by simply just staying home, by simply just limiting our movement and taking care of our ancestors. Shout out to the people down in Diné territory. Navajo is getting hit pretty hard by this. I've been reading a lot of articles about that. So shout out to all of them. And another reason was because the healthcare workers are being stressed because, again, a lot of movements going on and we're seeing a lot of things going across the country. So this is always dedicated to those healthcare workers on the front line who are doing their part to try and work with what they have, what little they have. So again, by staying home, we're helping and contributing to the healthcare workers as well. So with that, I thank you all for tuning in. Please like and share the Indigenous Peoples Art Gallery Facebook page and stay updated on future events that we have coming up. So I want to, I guess, get into some poetry now. It's been a week. We did last week. We had a great show, a great turnout, and I really excited about what we got for you this evening. So I want to kind of start out with this little poem I had wrote. I think it was yesterday. Um, and I wanted to kind of try to combine my language uh, this time because it's kind of something I've never really done. So I thought that I'd give it a try. So this poem really doesn't have a title to it, but here it goes. Ginaje, Bemehkan. Why is it that we dribble around our language clumsily, like an adolescent child with a basketball, and exhale this foreign language as if a cold Iowa winter cloud of smoke coming from our mouths? I call foul. The other squad had players that looked like it had their sixth year of high school. Flandreau, the good old days. He sat around and always told stories from high school. The star averaged 1 billion points a game. Nowadays, couldn't even say. Just looks down and shrugs his shoulders. So just writing poems for me is I try to think of something or I see something or something, even just like being uh, isolated and stuff like that. I still get inspired by just going outside and everything. And so for those of you out there who might find it hard, to create by just sitting around at home. It's get outside and get doing something else different other than trying to focus on just writing and something will help you spur an idea or something. So um, that was one poem that I think of these things as I'm just going along painting and drawing and stuff. And so that was kind of a little crazy poem I had thought of. The Meskwaki words that I had used, Ginaj, means kind of slow down, kind of take it easy. Bemakan means walk, um, uh, kind of like, so basically it was like slow down and walk, slow down. And that's kind of what I'm trying to say is through this message of stay home. And I think that's something we need to take from this situation we're going with, coming out better, taking a moment to slow down and stop and think about what's really important to us. So that's kind of what inspired that first poem that I said to you tonight. This next one, it's a little bit longer, but I wrote it again sometime yesterday when I was waiting for my paint to dry. I kind of got a little inspired. So this next poem I'm going to read is, again, no title, but it was just sitting out here at home. Everything is just a regurgitation of everything. One big bicycle wheel spinning around with these little plastic balls flopping around with each lap. I used to put a can on my tire and zip down this hill, and maybe I would hope I would crash and get to ride in an ambulance and get away for a while and maybe get some attention, but nah, I just hit that ramp and became hero for the day. In my own mind, because no one was around. I would walk my bike up that driveway at sunset. The mosquitoes were vicious. As I walked and stopped, looking into the trees, it occurred to me, what if the squirrels mutated into some kind of spider-like carnivorous tree-dwelling little varmin attacking bears, ganging up on them? That would change the game. I would lay my bike down on its side. Handlebars and pedals had hold-up duties for the night. My room littered with wonder and rap music, basketball posters, and a stillness that tomorrow was Saturday and I had a fort to build. Everything is just a regurgitation of everything. So again, just thinking back. Uh-oh.
I think we lost it again. I don't know how, but I can't pull it up again. So um, if you go down to that ... again, does it say that we're live?
On the Facebook, it says live.
Oh, it says was live for me.
Mhm. All right. Are we back?
I'll check.
Yeah, we're back on. Yeah, we're back on. Okay. Sorry about that. I always that's the thing with this new way of doing things. We gotta learn how to get through these technical issues. Uh, so again, thank you all for tuning in to tonight live poetry reading, the Stay Home live virtual poetry reading. I was just reading a few poems there. I want to get back into a little bit. Again, for those of you, I hope you kind of tune back in because we lost connection there. So again, I just been kind of, reading a couple poems that I had written here the past couple days for tonight. I really wanted to try to bring something new and fresh, keep myself going, and keep myself from getting comfortable with not doing anything and creating. So I thought that it'd be a good thing to come out with some fresh new material. Again, stay tuned to Indigenous People Art Gallery and Cafe. We got a lot of good events coming up. We got, as soon as, hopefully through this process, we get our technical side figured out so we can do more things virtually for you all at home. We got a great line of Indigenous artists too coming up. So stay tuned for that. I'm really excited for the lineup that we got in the coming weeks. Also, I'll be promoting and sharing my art with you as I finish my paintings and stuff like that. I got a series of things I'm doing right now, so stay tuned for that. Again, I'm going to read another poem before we get into our featured artist for this evening. This last poem, again, it was just inspired, kind of sitting here thinking about a lot of these issues that we're going through, not only here at home, but also I think we can kind of relate to all of us at tribal communities because we're all kind of going through some of these issues and things ain't really changed. So, I just kind of get to thinking about a lot of these you know, these things that we kind of go through as young Indigenous people. So this poem I wrote, and you know, it was just again sitting here thinking as I was painting pictures and stuff like that. So I want to share this last poem before we get into our featured artist. This poem, um, yeah, okay, starts out opioid crisis, coronavirus, meth lurks on the edges of town. There's people drowning all around, so it makes it hard to tell. A brother dies, a sister dies, you realize the firewood is running low. There's dice to roll, and every day I hope I throw something in my favor. The light shines sometimes, sometimes bright, sometimes they land you to doing time, but nonetheless, it's up to you. It's up to you to navigate through all the scattered pens and markers splattered across the floor. It's like a quick score, but eternity has passed, and before you know it, you're looking at a dirt floor. So slow it down and smell the roses, as they say. Kick back on the porch and check out the blue sky. Could be worse. The roses might not grow someday. So those are a couple poems that I had read, had written here just recently, the past couple of days. Oh. And so I again want to thank you all for tuning in and checking out what we got going on this evening, checking out the Indigenous Peoples Art Gallery and Cafe. We got a lot of great things coming up. Again, share the page, share the event. We got some great artists coming up for you coming in the next couple of weeks. We're also looking for other Indigenous artists, poets. If you are somebody out there, you know, somebody who might want to have a platform, be sure you let them know to send their bio and their video to Indigenous Arts Alliance at gmail.com. So thank you. So with that, we're gonna get into our featured artist for tonight. Comes from, let me pull up her bio here.
Oh yeah, I think the feed stopped again.
Oh, did it?
I'm trying to keep it up on my phone.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't see it either, but the more I'm on video, the more I'm like, it's lucky I'm not in public. I can't stop touching my face. Yeah, if it gets going, maybe you could read one of your poems from the beginning again, because I looked at it and I think it stopped the first lifetime after your announcement. So I don't think they got to hear your first poem, but they got to hear the last one you just did. I think the first one was good and the second one wasn't, but also like I'd listen to them again, so I would too, yeah. Really like your work. Dude, he's so talented. I'm a little mad about it.
I think we're live. Okay. All right. So I think we're back on. We keep getting cut out. Our live feed keeps going off, but I hope we can keep that from happening again. So for those of you who, I don't know when we got cut off, but for those of you just tuning in again, thank you all for sticking with us and getting through this technical difficulties we're going through. Again, I just wanted to read this poem. I don't know if we got it, but start off with this new poem before we get into our featured artist for the night. Uh, I wrote this poem just before we did this event yesterday sometime, and here it goes. Opioid crisis, coronavirus, meth lurks on the edges of town. There's people drowning all around, so it makes it hard to tell. A brother dies, a sister dies. You realize the firewood is running low. There's dice to roll, and every day I hope to throw something in my favor. The lights shine, sometimes they're bright, sometimes they lead you to doing time, but nonetheless, it's up to you to navigate through all the scattered pens and markers splattered across the floor. It's like a quick score, but eternity has passed, and before you know it, you're looking at a dirt floor. So slow it down and smell the roses, as they say. Kick back on the porch and check out the blue sky. Could be worse. The roses may not grow someday. So thank you. That was a poem again. I just created, wrote up yesterday. And again, I want to continue to promote all you Indigenous artists out there, you writers, other creatives, to keep creating, to keep putting out work, staying home, and looking for that positive to make yourself better when we come out of this, when we're able to get out and do these things again, get back to life. So again, with that, I want to jump into our artist for the night. Very excited to have her here on the Stay Home Live Virtual Poetry Reading Series. Very honored and very excited to bring you Tanea Winder, a poet, writer, artist, and educator who was raised on the Southern Ute Reservation in Ignacio, Colorado. She's an enrolled member of the Duckwater Shoshone tribe. She includes Southern Ute, Pyramid Lake Paiute, Dene, and Black heritages. Tanea writes and teaches about different expressions of love, self-love, intimate love, social love, community love, and universal love. She travels Turtle Island speaking and teaching about the importance of hard work and using her gifts to serve your passions and create your own definition of success. So ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you Tanea Winder.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for having me, Dawson. I met Dawson recently when my brother Frank Wallen and I were out at Meskwaki, and that's how I first got introduced to his work. And just hearing you tonight is definitely a gift and a privilege, and your work is really awesome, and definitely spoke to me on multiple levels. So I hope you keep writing and keep sharing. So for me, I just have a couple that I'm going to share that are kind of new. I would say newish poems. I write a lot. I'm gonna put on my glasses. But I write a lot just about my experiences in my travels and working with youth in different capacities. I think the live feed might have gone away again, but I'll just keep rolling. But this one that I'm going to share is interesting writing. Sometimes I love it, sometimes I hate it, just because it takes a lot of time. Sometimes you write something, I write something, and then I think it's cool, and then I put it away for a few days, and I open it up again, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta fix some stuff. And sometimes it will take me years to do a poem. But I'm gonna read this short one for you guys. It's called When the Stars Fall from the Sky. Say we begin in surrender, spiraling through loss still sleeping in our bones, I once heard a creation story about Coyote falling from the blanket of the sky, unable to keep pace, keep time. Why did we grow up learning to wish on anything that falls? Say it is possible to invite our demons to dinner. Ask if they prefer to pray before or after. We eat, we feast, pull up a seat next to our wounds, listen to them fight over who came first, as if a rupture chooses how it wants to break, as if a scar decides how it wants to come undone. At the dinner table, your belly swells with rage, as if to say healing is pain demanding a seat at the table, as if to remind you you cannot forgive your ghosts until after you stop grieving them. Tell me it's possible to drink in constellations, savoring each star east to west. Tell me when the stars fall from the sky, we'll still be able to find our way back home. And I wrote that poem. I think like one of the interesting things about writing and poetry and art is just like, um, I guess just how you write things over time. You know, when I was a junior in college, one of my really good friends took his life, and that was in 2007. But my mom wanted me to go to therapy after, and I just remember being so angry. And one of the therapists had said, like, well, you have to invite your demons for dinner and like have tea with them and sit with them. And it made no sense to me. And it was like when my first time in therapy, and I was thinking, this guy is crazy and he doesn't understand. And, you know, only years later did I finally understand like what he meant, and like been able to like take in those lessons. So like what Dawson was saying earlier, like things happen in life, and it's like you figure out how you want to like process it, like through your craft, whatever that is, whether that's music or art or poetry. um but that's kind of where that poem came from. All right, and then um this next one I'm gonna do, I think like, so for me, I have a master's of fine art in poetry, and I just did that right after college because I didn't know what else I was gonna do. But it was like a love-hate relationship, because I feel like the way we tell stories as Indigenous people doesn't always fall like in line with what they tell you is good writing. But it is good writing. Like, we're all natural storytellers. We're all like, I think we're all amazing writers. And, you know, just even hearing last week's show and then hearing Dawson today, it just reminds me like just how wonderful and talented like we are as Indigenous people, and the power of our stories. And there are ways to like get better and to improve. But I feel like for me, having gone to the college I went to and then doing my master's, like it really just, I almost feel like a different like kind of, I guess like stripping me of my indigeneity, I feel like in different ways, by telling me what was good and what was not. And I really like repetition in the way that I like to do it. But that's just, now I feel like I'm trying to write more poems that I feel like just speak to my people, because I feel like when you go through programs like that, sometimes it teaches you to like write towards other people so you can sell books and like have this mass appeal. I saw one of my students like on Facebook the other day talking about like Native musicians, saying how some of them he thinks is just they're writing for like not for their people anymore. And I that really struck with me, and I just feel like I've been thinking lately like, well, who am I writing for? I want to write like for myself and my people, because that for me is healing. And I hope multiple people can relate to that from all walks of life. But that's kind of where my poetry is coming from right now. This poem is called Extraction, and it starts with a quote at the beginning of the poem by this artist, scholar, poet, Leanne Simpson. And the quote is, "Extracting is stealing. It is taking without consent, without thought, care, or even knowledge of the impacts that extraction has on the other living things in that environment. That has always been a part of colonialism and conquest." Extraction. My grandmother says boarding school is where people go to die. As she teaches me to embroider and knit, my hands fumble over the needles. Grandmother, when did you first learn how to sing the songs you carry? Before I was born, they tried to silence us, pierced our tongues with needles, then taught our then girl grandmothers how to sew like machines. Even then, they saw our bodies as land full of resources waiting to be extracted and exploited. We stitch together phrases. My grandmother patiently teaches me words in Indigenous. She says, Mogwavi means heart. I want to learn how to unbury this. Bury, Sogomi. I want words to undrink the drugs we loved into our veins because for some of us, this was the only way we knew how to keep breathing. I want to say alcoholism is the symptom and not the disease. Can we unsuicide, unpipeline, undisappear our dear ones? There is no word for undo, but many ways to say return. We never get to go back to before our fathers began evaporating and our mothers started flooding themselves into unglobable rivers because their mothers were taken long ago. And we are still searching, dragging rivers red until we find every body that ever went missing. For as long as I can remember, we've been stolen from reservation to industrial boarding schools, and today our girls, women, and two-spirit still go missing. But Yakui is to sink or disappear. Where is it we fall? When did we first start vanishing? We sew new memories into old scars, a recorded pain so precise like threading a needle one can barely see through. Sometimes I want to set this world on fire, carry the scent of smoke wherever I go. So should I go missing, you'll know how to find me. Grandmother, when it comes to letting go, my hands have always failed me, but my mouth wants to tell you the story about the songs you still sing softly. And so that poem is kind of just weaving together, learning about the history of our families, the history of our people, about like those traumas of boarding school and how those are passed down through us and how do we learn to process those things? Like how do we learn to heal? And I think poetry is very healing in that way. So I'll just do two more. I've been writing a lot, like I think just this self-isolation, like again, like Dawson was saying at the beginning, it's important to stay inside, to do our part. Today I had to go to the store to get some stuff. I saw so many people outside and I was just thinking, wow, like I know it's hard to stay inside, but it's also a time like, for prayer, time for centering ourselves, a time for reflection. And in my reflection and writing, I've just been thinking a lot about like the brothers I have and have had throughout my life. And so when I write, I kind of like, for me, just so I don't write like about a specific person, I like try to mush them all into one poem sometimes. So this poem will say my brother, but it comes from just like different interactions throughout my life. But one of my brothers in particular has been struggling with different substance abuses. And so that just made me revisit all of these things, all of the different brothers I've had in my life for this poem. It's called My Brother Asks to Teach Him How to Pray. My brother asks to teach him how to pray, says he's forgotten how to hold his breath. Sister, look, he says between coughs, look, you see black rivers, I'm coughing them up. Where? Be careful, they'll pull you under if you step in. His shoulders dry heave like he's kneeling in church, begging for forgiveness, or another demon to ride shotgun quick to the corner store where his friends gather like fans waiting to hear more stories. Remember that time I flew so high the ground disappeared? Every day he cruises up and down, searching for another kind of airplane, convinced he's got clouds in his lungs. These days, all he does is twiddle his thumbs the way grandmother used to do between hymns. The only part of church she liked was the singing. She doesn't like to remember the things that happened back then when you prayed in your own language, how to this day scriptures still sting as the words skip from throat to tongue. These days, he'll tell you he's found the answer to everything in a lost prayer, like a song you start humming then forget. Sister, look, exclaiming, hands in front of him as if playing a saxophone. Can you see? The music comes out in black rivers. It floods notes that he plays too slow. He's held his breath the entire way, now hands in the air mid-prayer, exhaling some clouds that have already rained. And then I have one more that's kind of on that same tip that I just wrote 2 nights ago. It's kind of, I really like writing. I know I said I have a love hate, but when I love it, it's when you get lost in it. Like you start something and then 2 hours have flown by and you're just like tired and you're still just like, I have to sit with this. Like you feel like the inspiration. And inspiration doesn't always come. Like I admire Dawson when he was like, yeah, my paint was drying, so I wrote a poem. I was like, I need to do that. I need to have that kind of relationship with poetry, because for me sometimes it's like pulling teeth, but this one I felt that spirit again, and it was good to feel. But this one is called Becoming a Ghost. Ask me about the time my brother ran towards the sun. His shadow chased him through alleys across town from the 7 to 11 all the way up Main Street to the church. Most nights you could find my brother from the empty bottle caps he left on corners said, it's how I find my way back home. During Mass, he offered bottles in stacks so high they say you could climb your way to heaven. Once, he offered himself in pieces, vodka mixed with tears, no chaser. He could never tell the taste between angel or demon, scar and wound, grief and pain. Ask me about the time my brother disappeared. We were 16 when he tossed his heart shoestrings over telephone wire, dangling for all the res dogs to feed on. Bit by bit, they took chunks of my brother's flesh. I still remember our first sip of alcohol, 8 years old, during communion. We ate the body of Christ on our knees, palms wide open, not expecting the priest to pour wine into our mouths. That was the first time we drowned in history, our people's bodies being violated. I never drank again, the bitter taste buried in my tongue, but my brother never quite lost his thirst for blood. Ask me why my brother says he's tired of outrunning sleep, dreams where he's chased by demons for miles on gravel roads in between trees where we once played hide and seek. Now is about the time he vanishes, into days, sometimes weeks. My brother calls this magic, the final act for someone born already lost. Ask me if I can still hear him whispering, I am still waiting to be found, to be found. Tell me why there is nothing more holy than becoming a ghost. So those were the ones I had planned to share, but I can get more if you want, or if you wanted to share another one, Dawson, and then I could do another one too, but let me know what you think. Oh, you're muted, I think.
Yeah, I think we could do another one, and then we'll jump back into you here, because we keep kind of going in and out with the feed all the time. So hopefully we can at least get an hour in here tonight.
Cool.
All right. So let me get this out. So it's back on me. Thank you, Tanea. Again, people out there who are tuning in, apologize for the technical issues. That's kind of the give and take you have with doing this new way of performing and getting our art out there. We got to kind of learn how to adapt and adjust to these things. So again, I want to thank Tanea for those beautiful words, for those poems, and again, I just want to invite everybody to the page, Indigenous People's Art Gallery and Cafe. Be sure you tell your friends and relatives to like the page, share the page. We got a lot of good things coming out uh, in the next couple of weeks. I want you to be on board for all of those things. Um, I'm gonna get into another poem here. I wrote again. I was feeling very creative and just wanted to, put some fresh material out there. So again, all you young Indigenous poets, people out there who feel they want to do a live virtual poetry reading, be sure you send your bio and videos to Indigenous Art Alliance at gmail.com, and we'll check them out. And maybe you'll be here on the live Stay Home virtual poetry reading series. So with that, I want to get into this final poem. It's called, this one I do have a title, and it's called Little Island Scattered Across the Continent. Little island scattered across the continent, clouds across the sky. Oh, shoot. Went off again. All right, we're back. We're back. Okay, so thank you again. I apologize for the technical difficulties, but just before we went out, I was going to get into this poem I had just written. It's called Little Island Scattered Across the Continent. Little island scattered across the continent, clouds across the sky on a blue-ass day. You can still hear the drums playing. Someone war hoops across the field, over there. Must be still going from last night because it's too early to be that excited about life. Bells ring off in the distance in glory despite the imminent threat that looms overhead. The jingles still ring off in the distance. On my porch and in hesitance, I glance beyond the trees and over the cities, hover over the ocean while spinning like a tornado, spitting these sacred hymns in my sacred lexicon. Stop the madness and plant the seeds of progress, because the longer we think we're flawless, the more we prolong the future chances to live better. Just as I figured, off the coast as I hovered, just a little north of the galaxy, lies a road called Whiskey Bottom. They were singing and dancing, pounding on the hoods of cars, spitting bars about love, destruction, our insecurities, and the myths. Little islands scattered across this continent, they found the last source of water. Now they could begin the sacrifice with singing and dancing and planting, and the first place winner gets a cool stack. But there was enough water to plant the corn, because that thread of knowledge is worth the grow. So again, I get inspired just by doing just what I do, paint and this isolation period just really gives me a chance to kind of hone down on things and really kind of turn things inside and find like that creative outlet for me to get through these uncertain times, because we don't know when we're going to be able to get back to life. I won't say that we're going to get back to doing life normal again, but we got this opportunity to create like a new way how we want to live. And so I think that's why it's like very important to take this opportunity to turn within inside ourselves, so that when we do get a chance to get back out there, get back to our powwows and our and doing all of the things that we love to do, we'll be better people. We'll be better knowing that we can get through difficult times because we have each other, we have ourselves most importantly. So that's kind of what I want to do. Also, stay home. Stay home through this uh, pandemic. We're gonna get through it. Even as hard as it is, young people just stay home. Do our part, protect our elders, protect our children and our sick. We got a lot of sick people in our communities, so do our part and stay home. So with that, I want to again give another opportunity for Tanea to read another poem, because I could keep doing this all night. I really, really, really love putting artists out there and doing this kind of thing. This is kind of that time for me to kind of decompress and just do my art and focus on art for a little bit of the day. And I'm staying home. So with that, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I give you Tanea Winder.
Thank you, Dawson. Yeah, it's nice. It's calming. I feel like being inside, sometimes you get anxiety, and I have it every day. But like sitting down and just like listening to other people share their poems and stories, like, is very calming and grounding. And I hope families take this time too to watch your page, watch these shows each week. It's great that you all are providing this for everybody. I was just on a call earlier this week with the Denver Indian community, and people were looking for things to do for their families. So definitely suggest this as a resource. And for parents, maybe sit down with their kids and write some poems. Like, it can be fun. This poem I'm going to share comes from just my experiences traveling. I guess there was sometimes a few years ago I was traveling like every week, like to visit different communities across Indian country, doing poetry writing workshops, and you learn a lot. Like, felt very humbled to like do that and just spend time with people and communities and youth. But this poem is inspired particularly by my visit at one community. It's called Love Lessons in a Time of Settler Colonialism. In my poetry workshops, I ask my students, if you could have any superhero power, what would it be? All of the girls respond, invisibility. They too know all too well that some cracks were built just for us to fall through. We live in a world that tries to steal spirits each day. They steal ours by taking us away. From industrial schools to forced assimilation, genocide means removal of those who birth nations. Our living threatens. Colonization has been choking us for generations. I tell my girls they are vessels of spirit, air to lungs expanding. The world cannot breathe without us. There are days I wish I didn't have to teach these lessons, but as an Indigenous woman, silence is deadening. There is danger in being seen. Our bodies are targets marked for violence. We carry the earth's screams, me too, inside us. A howling wind, our mothers and their mothers swallowed these bullets long ago. The voices ricochet. I wish I was invisible. I wish I was invisible. I wish echoes in my eardrums. We know what it's like to live in fear. Colonialism's bullet sits cocked, waiting behind a finger on trigger. We breathe and speak and sing for survival. We carve out lines. We write, I know joy, I know pain, I know love, I know love, I know lessons we've carried throughout time. Should I go missing, don't stop searching. Drag every river until it turns red, and the waters of our names stretch a flood so wide it catches everything. and we find each other, whole and sacred, alive and breathing and breathing and breathing. So that's a poem just dedicated to all Indigenous girls. I know that it is dangerous to feel seen sometimes and be seen, but I hope that we can build a world where it's safe enough for us all to be seen for all that we are, all of our gifts and our full spirit.
All right. Thank you, Tanea. Um, Again, thank you all for tuning in again this evening. Another Saturday night of the Stay Home Live Poetry Reading Series. Um, an event that I uh, kind of was inspired to do because of what I was seeing throughout the country going on, not only in my community, but just reading about all these other communities and the young people kind of not taking it seriously. I live in Iowa, so here we don't have a stay in place, shelter in order in place. So it's kind of scary. And I feel like it's up to us individually to do our part by limiting our movement. You know, we know what it is. We know what's going on out there. We know that this is a serious thing. So, you know, uh, you know, get creative, find something to do at home, find a purpose. One of the things that I always really love to stress is learn your language. Uh, get out those books or get out those apps and just get out there and try to pick it up. You know, this is a great time. Uh, we are kind of experiencing such a unique moment in our history. Just think of the stories that young people are going to tell when they grow up and get older. So finding something like that, I think, is going to just be highly beneficial for everybody. Uh, Learning your language, that could lead into learning about your culture and all of those other things. So you know, do something productive like that and come out of this situation a better person, you know. And by doing so, you're taking care of your grandparents, um, you know, because it's scary. It's scary reading these articles. It's scary reading what how easily this could just decimate a whole tribe. And you know, it's true when they say that when these elders go and we lose our elders, we lose a lot of that knowledge and that wisdom with them. So to me, that's very scary. And you know, I just feel like you know, it's great that we can get people like us to get out there and try to promote that and show that you can, you know, do something throughout the week and then put it out there here live on the Indigenous People Art Gallery and Cafe page. So all you young creatives out there, please just, you know, reach out to us, reach out to Tanea, to some of the other artists that were on previously. I shared all of their information on our page. I got their links on there. So if you want to do some hip hop, you know, we had Talon on, he makes music, reach out to him. You want to learn how to write and do some poetry, you got Tanea, you got Cinnamon out there doing healing, doing all of these things. So that's what I wanted to show with this series, is that there's young people out there who are doing things, who are willing to help and provide space, provide uh, these opportunities for you young people out there who might want to turn your life around, who might want to get away from what it is that is in our communities that's not always that positive. So you know, reach out to us. We're here to help. We wanna put you on. We want to showcase your talent and your artwork and your music. and your fashion. We got some cool fashion things coming up. So check us out. We got a lot of things that we want to do, and we're always looking for that new young talent. So again, I can't stress that enough. All you young people out there, please, please, please get in contact with us. We'll figure it out, you know. And again, like the page, and keep coming back every Saturday night, because we're gonna keep doing this uh, till things get better out there in the world, and we can kind of flatten that curve and give a little lenience to some of those healthcare workers, because they're out there doing a lot of work, and they're not getting a lot of help from the people that need to be helping them. So let's do our part as young people. This is our moment to do great things. So we can simply do that by just staying home. So again, I thank you all for tuning in, and come back next week. We got a great lineup. We got another great event for you. So please come back to the Stay Home Live virtual poetry reading series here at the Indigenous People's Art Gallery and Cafe.
And if I could say one more thing too, like just to echo Dawson, like everybody he mentioned, they are all good people that I know that are willing to help you if you want to reach out for help. And if any of you want to, like, you're like thinking about it, you're curious, but you like want to be brave and like reach out to Dawson to get featured, to see if you can get featured. I'll connect with Dawson for this on the future, but I'll give away 5 of my poetry books. Maybe he can do a raffle for people. So if you submit, even if you don't get selected, if you just put yourself out there and submit like your stuff to Dawson, he can do a raffle. Give me your addresses. I'll sign and send you 5 of these. If you do music, we have some Dream Warriors mix CDs with, if you know Frank Wallenthal, Paul, Mike Jordan, Lila, Juna, and myself have songs and poems on some CDs. So if you do music, I'll do the same thing. 5 free CDs we'll raffle off if you submit your stuff, because I think the space that Dawson and others are building here is really beautiful. It's a really beautiful thing. So thank you, Dawson.
Thank you. All right. So again, with that, I want to thank you all for tuning in. Sorry for all the technical difficulties. We're still working. We're kind of learning as we go. So we're going to get all of that figured out again and bring it back to you next week. I want to thank Tanea Winder for coming on. And again, thank the Midwest Writing Center for partnering with us and doing this. And thank everybody, all of the people who supported me and who are helping me get the word out there, and for stepping up and doing this, and for believing in me. It's really cool doing all this from home. So, but yeah, I want to thank you all. Stay tuned for more great Indigenous art. Have a great night.